What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. We've been talking about this for the last couple weeks now. What the Dolphins are going to do post Jalen Ramsey, and according to Barry Jackson, respected reporter, Dolphins talking to Rasul Douglas currently. Evidently, the market for Rasul has just never materialized. Green Bay didn't want him back. Buffalo didn't want him, and Seattle didn't want him. At least didn't want him is a bit harsh. They didn't want him at whatever price he wanted. Let's say it that way, right? He's getting older. He's a 30-year-old corner. He knows, hey, don't have a lot of like money making years left. Let's try to make this happen. And the Dolphins have kind of sat back like, we don't think the market's that popping for you. And it seems that we have played a dangerous game that we actually turned out a winner on. Because if he's circling the block right now talking to us about a contract, that means that he didn't get what he wanted out there. And whatever our offer was, which is still not really been disclosed, is better than what he had at other places. Otherwise, he will be signed with someone already. We don't know what the exact contract is. I do know that a Dolphins cap situation currently is not great. So I'm guessing the conversation is not necessarily about the total amount that he wants, but more so about how much of it is guaranteed, how much of it, if, how much of it is incentive based, because it's a big deal for older corners and basically any older position. People will give you a contract and say, "Hey, 1 year, 10 million," and you'll see like four is guaranteed, and six is like if you make the Pro Bowl, 1,000 yards receiving, 10 picks. Like it's a lot of incentives to get you to that 10. So we're probably working out the individual details. We haven't disclosed what those are yet, but I'm happy to hear that we're looking his way. If in fact we go with Rasul, that does mean that Asante Samuel will not be signed. Which I said as soon as his dad started talking, I said, "Ain't no way." But then Asante's camp was like, "Hey, we're still down to come," and I was like, there may be some dissension amongst the Samuels, but I think Rasul's a better fit, especially for the short term. I think if you get Asante, you have to give him a 2 or 3 year contract. He's 25 years old. Rasul's a little bit older, veteran, been in division. We know who he is. We know what he can bring to the table. I think his price point fits us better, and his timeline fits us better. Basically, either he's good for us this year or he will be replaced next year. That's what I'm guessing. So it may be a 2 year deal, like 2 years, 12 million, and then 6 to 7 guaranteed. That's what my thinking is, just based on how the cornerback market has been going. I don't think he'll get more than that. And I think basically it will be a 2 year contract with really 1 year guaranteed. And if he's good, we're down to get a second year. But if you're not good, yeah, we are moving on to the next. We have a lot of young corners on the team that are currently vying for playing time. And again, there are always corners in the draft. Every year, two or three come out of the draft that are more than good. Some are great initially. We don't have to really feel like we need to be long term connected to a 30-plus-year-old cornerback unless you're elite and great. And if Rasul isn't, he won't be here. And if he is, we'll love to have you for one more year. But before that can even take place, the Dolphins had to figure out a cap situation. We don't have money to go out and sign Rasul Douglas today. We just don't have it. We also don't have money for Noah Fant today, which means we have to do some kind of cap configurations. Now, I'm not wearing my cap glasses because I lost them. I'll be honest, I don't know what happened to them. And they're gone. I'll get a new pair. So you get to do cap talk without cap glasses. So what can the Dolphins do cap wise to make moves for Rasul Douglas and possibly Noah Fant? There are a number of things. The easiest thing to do though is to restructure Minkah Fitzpatrick's contract. Now I've seen varying numbers on how much it will save the team, but basically if we do a simple restructure, splitting 1 year into a couple years, we'll save somewhere between 7.1 and 7.75 million that we can use towards this year's cap. Given our 2.2 million that we have, that gives us about $9 million that we can spend on signing a player. That's enough for Rasul. Maybe not enough for Rasul and Noah, depending on what they each want, but maybe possibly if Noah wants 1 year, 4 million, then we can maybe do both. But that's the easiest thing to do without being committed super long term to Minka because he has a couple years left on his deal. So we could give him a contract extension as well. But now you're tied to him for longer. That would save us more money. We could save up to 10, 11 million. But now you're committed to him for more time. So given how Chris Greer is moving right now, he's not looking for that long-term commitment. He's in a dating phase. All right. He's not putting no ring on it right now. He's like, let me get to know you for a little bit. So if you think we need that much money and we're super committed to Noah and we're super committed to Rasul going forward, and if we think Minka's going to be here for the next 3 or 4 years, then yes, you can do the contract extension, move that money out, free up money for this year, sign both guys, and we're good to go. If it's just we want to keep Minka on the current deal, but just want to split his money up between this year and his last year of his contract, we don't want to be more long term committed. Basic restructure, give us about seven and some change million. We use that money to put back into the team, and then we can use that to sign some players. That's the most simple way we can do it. There are a number of other things we can do. I'll get into those in future episodes, but that makes the most sense to me. I think we didn't bring Minka here and think he's going to just keep the same contract. I think he knows he's been on his downturn a little bit, so he would probably love a extension because that means he's guaranteed money for a certain period of time. The team is not in the business of doing that, so hopefully we can get that simple restructure done with him. There are other options. We can do more players, but Minka makes the most sense because he just got there. He knows the team. We went and re-got him. We know he's getting paid pretty well for his position. Like his total contract is about 18 million a year. That's awesome. He's getting paid money, so he's still getting paid near top of the market. So I don't think we have to do anything like he needs to get an increase in money. It's just about how we split it up to do what we want to do. So hopefully we make that move. If not today, maybe tomorrow. Because again, when I do these, no extra news is dropped. I can't stress that to y'all enough. I'll be talking and I'll go about my work. I got jobs. I go about my life. And I come back and all this news has happened. And I'm like, by the time they see this, it's going to be 16 hours later. They're going to be like, Chris is just giving us fake news or whatever. I promise you, as of now, we've done nothing cap-wise. But by the time you see this, maybe we have. We're back to our top 25 and 25, and we're going with number 17, Joey Porter. Now, I have watched football my whole life. Obviously, I watch the Steelers because they're in the AFC. When you think of Joey Porter, most people think of the Steelers because that's where he started. That's where his career was, for the longest part of his career was the best. Him and James and Harrison and all those guys were all like, not Harrison. He was with Foot. I want to say Larry Foot. That may not be his name, but it was like James Ferrier. That sounds better. That sounds like a better name. I think Ferrier, Foot. They had a bunch of linebackers at Pittsburgh. I'm like getting years. Like, what year were all these guys playing at the same time? But I believe James Ferrier was on his team. Anywho, I watched Joey Porter play for Pittsburgh his whole life, and I'm watching his son currently play for the Steelers as a cornerback. I'm getting old. That's crazy. But what you may not remember, we do because we're Dolphin fans, so people outside of our realm, that Joey Porter came to the Dolphins in 2008 and stayed for a few years and balled out. Joey Porter's first year, he had 17 and a half sacks, second team All-Pro, which is crazy. The most sacks he's ever had in a season. Came on the scene, balled out. Our team went from the worst team in the league, 1-15, to 11-5, made it to the playoffs. He was awesome. In his 3 years total with the team, he had 32 total sacks. That's 10 sacks a year. Zach Sealer's doing that right now, and we have to give him an extension. Joey Porter was doing this 15, almost 20 years ago. Crazy. 39 tackles for loss. Again, it was only a short run, 3-year run with the team, and he was at the end of his career. People thought he was washed. Evidently, not washed. Had just enough in the tank to really ball out for the team. And somehow that's been lost in history because I've never seen highlights of Joey Porter playing for the Dolphins. Because they show him often because this kid plays now, right? I think he's an assistant coach somewhere. And so they'll show him, and they only show him in Pittsburgh uniforms because that's what you think when you think of him. It's like seeing Jerry Rice wearing a Seahawks jersey. He's like, what's going on there? But he did, in fact, come down here and ball, and he was second team All-Pro. But we just don't see those highlights because, I don't know. We just don't see him. But he did come here. He did ball out. Short period of time. Typically, the shorter runs we kind of leave to the back end of the list, and the people who were greater for longer, we move to the front end. Had he had a couple more years like that, could have been a top 15, but as it stands now, hey, 17 is great. He may never be seen in a Dolphins jersey again, but while he was here, he did work. Finally, we get into the comment section again because this is where we really want to hear from you guys. Now we're getting into training camp, and I've gotten a question from a few different people. Who do you expect to really pop out during training camp, right? I don't expect to hear a lot from guys who are experienced. I don't think Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. I'm not expecting them to do a ton. They're coming back from injuries. They're going to be probably on a super pitch count, if not just doing pure walkthroughs, just until we start ramping up toward the year. I don't really expect them to do a lot. Same thing with the offense. I think they're going to be working on timing, you know, working on where people are in routes and that kind of thing. I'm looking for somebody in the secondary to pop, specifically because that's where we're the most efficient. I think Kenneth Grant is going to be great, actually, but we expect him to be great because he's a first round pick. So saying, "Hey, your first round pick is going to be good," doesn't really seem like a fair answer. That feels like I'm cheating. Like, who's going to be good? The guy getting paid the most money. Like, that's not a fair answer, right? I do think Kenneth is going to be good though because I do think he's going to be very physical at the point of attack, and our offensive line is outside of Brewer is currently very injury prone, and he won't be going against Patrick Paul because Paul's on the outside, right? So our center, both our guards, they're not really in shape now. Jonah is going to be there now. We'll see what time he gets in shape. James is still recovering, so I assume Kenneth's going to be great. I'm looking at R.D. Burns, and I know I did an episode a few weeks ago where I said I don't expect much from him, but then I had like a change of heart. I came to the idea that this is Artie's, I think, last chance to make it in the league. Realistically, first round pick, journeyman, bounced around a little bit, hasn't lived up to the billing. From Miami, went to now with the Dolphins. It's a great story, and sometimes when you're pushed to the edge, when you're pushed to the edge, what's made in you comes out. There was a reason he was a first round pick. It wasn't because he had a cool name. It wasn't just because he went to the U. It's because people saw a good combination of speed and size. They saw someone who had a lot of upside, someone who could be ideally a Pro Bowler, if not an All Pro at some point. Never quite put it together, but the people he's competing directly against for the most part are really young guys who I think the speed of the game picks up a lot as you get close to the season. Rookie mini camp is one thing. Real camp, different thing. Higher intensity, more accountability, faster. Like there's more hitting. Like I think it's just like the speed of the game for the young guys. I think might be too much, and he will be in a situation where, hey, I'm the vet. I've been through this many times, and also this is my last shot. That desperation is kind of akin to a 1 year contract, where it's like, hey, if I don't make this 1 year contract work, there may not be another 1 year contract. Artie's on both 1 year contract and older player who's like, hey, the league got fireworks. Hey, the league may have kind of given up on me a little bit. And if I don't bring it now, oof, like I might be that guy that's doing a podcast in 6 months, right? Like that is very much on the table for this, right? And I think that a team is going to give him every chance to be good because we want vets and we want guys that we can trust out there playing. I don't believe the goal is to have two rookies out here playing corner. I don't believe that's the goal because we know that rookies get picked on. We know that they haven't seen as much film. They haven't been in the trenches. They might be really good down the line. That's why for my secondary, I've kind of given like, give me a week 8, week 9 to know what our secondary is made of because I expect there will be some rotation of corner. I don't know if it's going to be fully set outside of Cater and Minka. I think everyone else is going to kind of be in a rotation. But I think that they're going to kind of play themselves into shape. And I think going in there as the vet, as someone who knows what they're doing, healthy for the first time in a long time, I think Artie has a chance to really put his foot down and really establish himself as, hey, I'm starting at one of the corners. I'm not sure which one he wants to start at, but I'm starting at one of these corners. The veteran leadership, that whatever that intangible being in the league and being a vet gives you, that extra advantage, I think will be beneficial to him. And I think if 1 year deal is not enough, career on the line is a big deal. Because if Ashton Davis is not good this year, he'll get picked up by somebody else. He's still young enough. I think Ashton's going to start as a second corner, a second safety, by the way. But if Ashton doesn't start, I don't think his career is over. I think if Artie Burns doesn't ball right now, he could end up in that Eli Apple kind of space where, hey, former first round, second round pick, really talented, a lot of hype, didn't pan out, and now you just don't work. Xavier Howard did not work last year. And plenty of teams need corners. Plenty of teams. How bad were secondaries from Detroit, from Washington? Those teams need cornerbacks and said, no, thank you. And a couple years earlier, Pro Bowl, a year before that, All Pro, and then like that. And that's someone who was great and fell off. If you were never great, it can dry up really quickly. So maybe I'm putting my heart into this because I'm hoping that someone can live up to their potential with one more shot to make it. It will be great to see. But likelihood of that, who knows? That's what I'm going where I think someone who can really break out, start getting that good rapport, like, hey man, Artie Burns is really showing some senior leadership, playing well. We need someone to come in. If we do in fact bring in Rasul, so you have Rasul, you got Artie, then you got Cater, then you got Minka, Ashton Davis. I like that secondary. Is it top five? Probably not. Could it be between 6 and 13, 14? Yeah. And I think if we're in the top half of the defense of the year, like we ranked 13th in defense this year, I think offense will be top 10 for sure. That's a playoff team. Simple as that. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes and subscribes. We'll see you tomorrow on Dolphins Daily. Peace.